That's right, y'all. Today we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. The war to end all wars. The battle of the century. PC versus console 2023. And you know what? There's one clear winner. There is one vastly superior to the rest. And we're going to get into... You know what? I hate that. I hate that, and it's crap. I think most thoughtful gamers understand that absolutely both serve their purpose. One is better than the other at a certain task, while the other is better at achieving X, Y, and Z. And I don't understand why so many people are hell-bent in going to their grave having convinced the entire populace that one is superior to the other. I'm so much better than you. Now, I'm going to start by saying this. I love both. I started my life as a console gamer in the 8th grade. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was or what console that was, because that's going to show you how old I really am.
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
But about 2 years ago, when we were all stuck at home with nothing to do and nowhere to go, I decided I really wanted to look hard into the PC gaming world. And I'm so glad I did. Now, there are a ton of videos out there that are going to talk to you about things like cost versus performance versus plug and play versus customization and all of that stuff. And they are fantastic. Lord knows I watched an absolute metric ton of them when I was getting my PC set up. But today we're going to talk about 5 things. 5 things that aren't often discussed when it comes to determining what is the best one for you, or if you own both, you know, what's the right one in the right situation. All right, so let's get into it. This is the first thing we're going to talk about, socialization. Look, gaming can be a wonderfully personal endeavor. It can also be the sort of social hub of your weekend and then everywhere in between. If you're in the mood to play Stray and get lost down these dark alleys as a lonely cat in this post-apocalyptic world, that's a very sort of personal journey that you sort of want to experience on your own. But that's got a very different vibe than you know, Friday night when you invite 4 friends over to play Super Smash Bros. Both are fantastic, but they're very different things. I think consoles generally lend themselves better to this kind of social in-person interaction, and I'll tell you why. Console gaming typically takes place on a TV, right? It's on a wall or it's on a stand somewhere where a number of people can gather around and take part in the adventure with you in real time, looking at the same thing. If there's a jump scare that happens in a scene, you share that together. You all jump together. You look at each other like, oh my God, what was that? Oh my God, what was that? It's an experience that you can't necessarily share digitally. And yes, there are a myriad of ways we can connect digitally while playing games that don't involve anyone being in the same room with each other, and that's fantastic. Stick around. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But what I'm talking about is that shared in-person experience. And you don't even need to be physically playing the game with the person, just sharing the space, watching the thing with them. One of my favorite experiences that I'm going through right now is watching my daughter play Dreamlight Valley. And it's fantastic. I can just sit on the couch with her while she's playing, and she discovered Stitch for the first time. And we were both like, oh my God, he's the cutest thing ever in the world. Aww. On a PC, 9 times out of 10, you have the headphones on and you're staring at something right in front of you. And you have this kind of set of digital blinders on that don't really allow you to sort of interact in the world around you. I mean, even if you're sitting on your couch playing your console and nobody's really participating in it with you or watching it right next to you, you know, you could still talk to the person in the kitchen, or you can still talk to the person who walks through the room.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
You're more aware of what's going on in the world around you. That's not really the case with PC. You tend to be sort of more locked in on the world that's right in front of you instead of what's going on around you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
So to that end, I do think consoles lend themselves better to in-person socialization. But let's move on to number 2 and look at the flip side of that coin, which is immersion. Look, if you want to get lost in a world, and I'm talking truly sucked in, where you forget most of what's going on in the world around you for a little bit, then I do think PCs have a leg up in that regard. I understand that you can play a console on a monitor in a similar way, but I think most people play it kind of in a living room TV environment. But when you strap on those headphones and you're staring at a monitor that's 18 inches away from your face, that takes up 80% of your peripheral vision, it's really easy to just melt into that world. And it doesn't even really matter what game you're playing. I'll use Witcher 3 as an example. I've been playing it recently. As a side note, I will say that the next-gen update that came out at the end of December is phenomenal. Whether you've never played it or whether you've played it 100 times, I really encourage you to give it a go. Now, I've played Witcher many times in a console environment, in a living room, on a TV, with people around. My daughter, my girlfriend will watch me get my ass handed to me in a boss battle on Death March and will absolutely laugh mercilessly at me. It's like having my own little personal dandelions.
Triumphant performance.
But this go around, I am playing it on my PC, and I gotta tell you, there is nothing like it. Geralt is trudging around the hills of Skellige in the pouring rain and the muck, and the water is lapping at his feet, and you absolutely feel like you're there. The rain is on you. You could hear it around you in this kind of 360-degree vibe. It is the most immersive way I have ever played this game, and it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, Roach is drunk the entire time. All right, so let's get into number 3, which is this: Socialization. Bro, you did that one already. No, I didn't. I did, but I said we were going to come back to this, and now here we are. It's different. Look, it's very rare that I am playing a game that I'm not in a Discord chat of some kind, whether it's with my girlfriend or somebody else or a group of friends or whatever it is. It's very rare for me to not be communicating with somebody while I'm playing.
Hello there. Hello.
Part of what makes a PC more expensive is that it's a great multitasker. It can do all sorts of different things. I'm filming this video right now on my PC. Yes, I'm sure there is a way I could figure out how to do this on a console, but it would be vastly more complicated. And with that ability to multitask comes all the different ways you can communicate with people while you're gaming. Things like voice chat and text chat we talked about. Also, all the sort of social media platforms where you can meet other people to game with, and you can do them all simultaneously while you're playing your game. That's really one of the better upsides of the price point of a PC. Look, we live in an increasingly sort of solitary world where we live in these sort of digital silos, and I would frankly advocate shutting off your console and your PC as often as you can. Get outside, go touch grass, get in a real world. It's really good for your mental health. But when we are playing, it is also really nice to have somebody at the other end of that microphone, somebody to communicate with and laugh with while you're playing, even if it has nothing to do with what you're playing. All right, let's move away from socialization entirely and get into the fourth topic, which is boundaries. I am fortunate enough to have a day job that allows me to work from home. I absolutely love it. It is perfect for me. But you guessed it, I work on the same PC that I play on. So when I sit down to battle the Seed siblings in Far Cry 5 at the end of the day, I've already spent 8 hours at the computer that day, doing far less exciting, far less violent things than battling religious extremists.
Walk the path.
But even if you don't work at your computer all day like I do, I have to believe you've got things going on your machine that are not part of that sort of gaming escapism. You've got to have family budgets, to-do lists, bank accounts, things like that going on. You sit down at the end of the day and all you want to do is play Stardew Valley and deal with Pam's on again, off again drinking problem, because that's relaxing.
Buckle up, hon. Wait, hold on.
But there's the family budget, there's the bank accounts. All of those things take you out of the environment you want to be in. Plus, it comes down to the physical environment. When I'm on my console, I'm on my couch. My feet are kicked up, I have a cold beverage next to me. I'm not in the same environment that I work in. It feels very different. So again, when I'm on my PC, and even after I've shut down my Outlook and my Microsoft Teams and my Asana task list for the day, I'm still in the same environment, and it still feels very similar to work. And it's a lot harder for me to sort of escape into an alternate reality.
Why do I feel like running away from everyone and everything?
And finally, the last thing we're going to talk about today is the rabbit hole. How far down do you want to go when it comes to your gaming?
Just how far down do you want to go?
When it comes to consoles, we know the positives. You can go from unboxing to like drop it into the Fortnite island in 20 minutes. But there's a relative cap to that, right? You sort of get what you get out of the box and there's not much more you can do with it. Yes, I know you can mod your console, but I think the vast majority of people don't do things like that. But I think that's one of the best things about consoles is its simplicity.
Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
You at no time feel like you have to technologically push much further to play a great game. The other side of that is the PC rabbit hole, which for me at least is very deep. I love the ability to tweak and change absolutely everything, most of the time. But sometimes I find myself almost obsessively trying to eke out the most infinitesimal amount of performance increase that's just not worth it. On a console, you're playing a game that is specifically made for that machine. And so when something goes wrong from a performance standpoint, we know there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Maybe restart the machine.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
But we don't really let it take away from our enjoyment in that moment. Whereas on a PC, you can find yourself then going over to Google to try and fix this thing for hours that really wasn't that much of a bother to begin with. There's really no right answer to this. Going down the PC rabbit hole can be fantastic when you want to be there, but I know personally, sometimes I find myself there and it's not really where I want to be. I want to just be playing a game. So I hope this gives you a little more to think about in the PC versus console debate beyond just the cost versus performance argument, which is valid, but there's a lot more to your gaming life than just those two things. You have to think about the other people involved, your family, your friends, what you want to put into gaming, and then what you want to get out of gaming, and which of these two items will better serve that. Anyway, I hope you like this new take on that sort of age-old argument that's gone on since the dawn of technology. If you like it, make sure you give a like and subscribe. I really want to have these conversations with you guys, and I can't wait to see you next time.